Alright, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Maximus, and in this my channel we discuss everything real estate investments the right way. How you buy your properties here in Nigeria without headaches, how to put your one kobo into any property in Nigeria without the thought of losing it or without the trauma of losing it, and everything as it concerns investment in real estate. So if this interests you, and of course I know it will, do hit the subscribe button, right? Hit the like button, share this video to as many people as possible, and comment at the end of this video what you learned in this video. And if for any reason there is anything you want me to talk about as it concerns investing in real estate in Nigeria, do well to put it in the comment section, and of course I will do a video just for it. And for context, you might be wondering, do I have the right to teach you real estate investment in Nigeria? You need to know that I'm the founder and managing director of the Wayne Realty Limited, which is a choice real estate company here in Port Harcourt, Nigeria, with 4 years of real development experience. For the past 4 years, we've been building and developing estate and selling to people just like yourselves. I'm talking about more than 1,500 people who are happy with our products, who are profitable in our products, and who wants to do repeat businesses with us. So sit tight, and of course you're going to learn one or two that's going to help you make less mistakes and make the most out of every one kobo you're going to put into a real estate investment here in Nigeria. So let's head into the juice of this video now. In this video, we're looking at the different kind of people and entities that have the right to own properties, sell properties, and transfer title, interest, and ownership. Let me repeat. We are looking at the different kinds of people and entities that have the legal right to own properties, sell properties, and transfer title, interest, or ownership. So you might begin to ask, is it not just two people, individual probably, and real estate companies? Are there other people out there that also sell properties? The answer is yes. And if you don't know these people and these entities, you might as well be buying properties that are not necessarily for those that are selling it. Those people that are selling those properties might be selling properties that are not theirs, that might belong to these entities that are not theirs. So you have to pay very close and apt attention in this video. It's going to really help you and open your eyes. Now, who are the first set of people that have the right to own properties, be it land or buildings in Nigeria, and have the right to own it, sell it, and transfer ownership? Then the first people is community. A community have the right to own properties, be it lands and buildings, and they also have the right to sell it and to transfer ownership. Now, before I go deep into this training, I would like to differentiate what owning, selling, and transferring really means, and why are they not the same thing. Now, owning simply means you have the legal right. In this case, you own the title and the title document that backs up your claims of ownership. So when you are being beckoned on, you can provide the proof of your ownership of that land. Lands are not owned through emotional attachment or through wishes and hopes. You don't own properties by hoping or wishing, or by emotionally loving a particular location, no, or by being born in that location, no. You must provide valid landed title documents that shows that you are the true and verified owner of that particular property. That gives you now the power to sell, right? That gives you now the power to sell. It's not until you are the bona fide owner of a property that you can sell it. So when you have been able to prove your ownership status, you can now go further to be able to sell it. Then selling it also doesn't mean that you can transfer ownership. For example, if a community can own a parcel of land, let's say 100 plus of land in a community, it's a community land. It's really evident here in Rivers State for us in the development arm. So whenever we want to go and buy a large expanse of land, we always meet up with communities to buy from. So in most of the time, a community can own a property. Then out of that community, they can have 10 families involved. 10 families. So out of these 10 families, a family can step forward and want to sell. So at that point, do they have the capacity to own? Yes, they are the part of the owners of the property, but do they have the capacity to sell? No. I don't know if you understand. They don't have the capacity to sell because on their own alone, they don't have the right legitimately to sell on behalf of the community. Not until all the people, all the families involved in that community comes together and have a unanimous agreement to sell, then this particular family A cannot be able to sell. Now, in a situation where somebody has the capacity to sell but doesn't have the capacity to transfer ownership is when somebody is selling, for example, with a power of attorney, right? You understand? On behalf of someone, when you have finished selling that product, you now need to introduce the original owner of that property to now transfer the ownership, the title, interest, and ownership to the new buyer. So this is where the peculiarity of owning, selling, and transfer of ownership comes to play. So when we talk about a community having the power to own, sell, and transfer, this is what we mean. And by default, as we go on in the video, this is also what we mean, right? So a community has the right to own, just like I already, exemplified with the example above, have the capacity to own, sell, and transfer ownership. Number two is a family. A family is a collection of, it's a father, a mother, and their children. So this is what makes up a family, right? At least for us here in Nigeria, this is what makes up a family. So a family has the right to also own, either through inheritance, either through communal ownership, or either through purchase. So the family can come together and decide to buy, or a father can buy a property and put it in a family name, as the case may be. So this is how a family gets to own, to sell, and to transfer. So when a family owns the property, how do they sell, and how do they also need to come together, have an agreement either with the figurehead, that the father of the family can decide to want to sell, and if he makes that decision, I don't think anybody's authority can override it. So you must make sure that when you are buying property from a family, you are buying from the figurehead, from the leader of the family. And in most cases, you must also be wary that most of the time, if the principal father that bought that property is dead and has willed it to the children, there was no formal will that parcellated that land before the man died, you should also be wary not to just go and buy from, because at that point, the first son has become the figurehead of the family. So if you go and buy from the first son alone without the agreement of the other younger brothers and sisters, you might also be stepping into a ticking time bomb in the short or long term. So these are some of the intricacies surrounding transacting with a family. You have to be wary about it. You have to ask the right questions too. Number three is an adult. An adult who is 18 years and above has the right to own the property, to sell, and to transfer ownership, right? So you must also know if this person is an adult, and if the person is an adult, you must also ask through the recital. So let me talk a little bit about recital. So in every land document, every title document, there's always a provision for recital, especially deed of conveyance and deed of assignment. Those two must always have a portion of it that has the recital. And the recital of a landed document simply means the history of that land document from the first owner up until now that you want to buy it. You need to cite it and take that history and go and ask the right corners, the right question. You need to ask the right people, the village chief, the village king. You need to ask those questions, the people around the family, the community. You need to go and ask those questions. It's with the recital that you get to know if this adult actually bought that property from the right person, or is the bona fide owner of that property they are selling. So it's from the recital you get to know whether this person actually is the actual owner of this property and has the right to sell the property to you. The number three is a company. Company comes a little bit of technicality to it. So a company in this case could be an oil company, it could be a construction company, it could be it could be a family-owned company, it could be any kind of company, it could be a textile company, it could be an oil and gas, it could be anything. But a company has the right to own, to sell and to transfer title. And in this case, you begin to look at limited liability companies and public traded company PLCs. You understand? You begin to look. When you want to buy from company, you must ask to see these, and of course employ the services of a lawyer or a professional like ourselves to cite these documents to confirm if the directors and the shareholders that are decision makers in this company have given a go-ahead, the green light to sell this property. Not until you have cited this that you are not permitted to buy from a company, right? So a company also have the right to own, to sell, and to transfer ownership. The number fifth entity that has the right to own, transfer, and to own, sell, and transfer property title document in Nigeria are real estate developers like ourselves. Yes, we have that legal right to own, to sell, and to transfer titles. And in this case also, you must conduct your own due diligence about the real estate company, right? For example, as a company like ourselves that are painstakingly teaching you these, I'm not saying you shouldn't conduct your due diligence or not, but of course you should know that we know what we are talking about. We have this information, you understand, in our fingertips. So let me not deliberate so much on that. The number six people that have the right, or entity that have the right to own, sell, and transfer ownership are governments. And this is quite prevalent in Abuja, where majority of the land laws and land administration is handled by the by the FCT Federal Capital Territory government. So this is where majority of the lands properties you're going to be buying is going to be coming straight from the government. You're going to go to the government to buy properties from them. You understand? Then in other states also, we see sometimes whereby a government gets to gift some civil servants that have served so well within the course of their time in civil service. At their retirement, they can gift. So that capacity to gift a portion of land somewhere in the state to that person, that's the government exercising its legal rights to own, to sell, and to transfer title and ownership and interest to another person. Then finally, and quite very much debatable, is a minor. A minor is a child from 0 to 17 years, right? That's a minor. So a minor in this case, when they have the capacity to own, but to sell and to transfer is where the technicalities come in. You understand? So at that point is where the technicalities come in. And that's where you need to now be very wary and be very, very, get your antenna, switched up so you can understand what is going on. So in this case, before a minor can be able to sell a property they legally own, they have to have a representative come standing for them. And in this case, in most cases, some of the things that are going to be looked into is how is this elderly or adult representative related to this minor? And secondly, does this representative mean well for this minor? And what is the purpose of this sale? Is this sale to help the minor further their education, or probably do anything that is tangible at their age? Or is the representative a dubious elder trying to sell this land and just take the money and run away? So these are some of the people that have the right to own, sell, and transfer ownership of properties back home here in Nigeria. So if you are following me to this point, it means that you are interested in buying real estate the right way in Nigeria. And if that is so for you, I'm inviting you to join us here at Wayne Realty and explore our offerings, amazing real estate locations, whether it's lands, whether it's buildings in Harcourt and Abuja. We are right here to serve you the best deals there is. That promises you safety of investment, profitability, and of course, lifelong time of earning through building well through real estate. If this video appeals to you, please comment what you've learned in the comment section. Tell us what you've learned. Anything you want us to talk about going forward, also put it right there in the comment section. And of course, do not forget to hit the subscribe button, and see you on the next one.